This man truly loves you, but he has another woman who. Don't scroll, listen to this, because the moment these words appeared, something inside you leaned forward before your mind could catch up, and this message is for you, and your heart needs this right now, because you've been carrying a quiet knowing you haven't fully named, a feeling that love is real here but the path has felt tangled, and listen to this, because God does not bring confusion to torment you, He brings clarity to free you, and don't scroll, because what you're sensing is not imagination, it's discernment waking up, and your heart needs this right now as the universe speaks gently but firmly, telling you that the connection you feel with this man is not shallow, not accidental, not something you made up to fill a void, it's deep, it's soulful, it's familiar in a way that feels older than words, and listen to this, because you felt his presence even when he's not there, felt his thoughts brush against your spirit late at night, felt the pull when angel numbers like 111 show up right as you think of him, or 222 appears when you're questioning whether balance will ever come, and don't scroll, because those signs aren't there to trap you, they're there to guide you, and this message is for you because love can be real and still unfinished, and your heart needs this right now because the truth is layered, not cruel, and listen to this, because yes, his feelings are genuine, his care is real, his recognition of you is not pretend, and you didn't misread. The warmth, the protection, the way his energy softens around you, but don't scroll, because love alone does not equal readiness, and God is careful with your heart, and this message is for you because there is another woman connected to him, not as a threat to you, not as someone you must compete with, but as an unresolved attachment rooted in history, obligation, comfort, or fear, and listen to this. Because heaven is saying this is not about betrayal, it's about timing, and your heart needs this right now because you've been blaming yourself for the distance, wondering if you said too much or not enough, wondering if you imagined the depth, and don't scroll, because you didn't imagine it, but you're also not meant to shrink yourself to fit into someone else's unfinished chapter, and listen to this, because the tension you've been feeling is the tension between destiny and delay. And your heart needs this right now as the universe reveals that you were brought into his life to awaken something, not to wait in the shadows, and don't scroll, because awakening often comes with discomfort, and this message is for you because you've been waking up too, noticing how you crave clarity more than intensity, peace more than pursuit, truth more than potential, and listen to this, because that shift is spiritual growth. And your heart needs this right now because God has been strengthening your intuition so you don't confuse longing with alignment, and don't scroll, because alignment feels calm even when it's firm, and you felt that calm when you imagine a love that chooses you fully, without hesitation, without divided attention, without secrecy, and listen to this, because the universe is not asking you to force a decision, it's asking you to honor your worth, and this message is for you because the presence of another woman is not meant to diminish you. It's meant to illuminate what you will no longer accept, and don't scroll, because illumination is protection, and your heart needs this right now as you understand that love that's meant to last does not ask you to compete, wait indefinitely, or question your value, and listen to this, because God does not build forever on uncertainty, He builds it on clarity, and angel numbers like 444 have been appearing to remind you that you are protected even when things feel unclear. And 555 has been showing up when you feel the urge to release control, signaling that change is not loss, it's movement, and don't scroll, because movement is happening even if you can't see the full picture yet, and this message is for you because the universe is working on both sides of this connection, softening him, bringing him face to face with truth, while also strengthening you, grounding you in self-respect. And listen to this, because the reason you haven't been able to fully detach is not because you're weak. It's because the lesson isn't complete yet, and your heart needs this right now. Because completion doesn't always mean union. Sometimes it means clarity that frees you from emotional limbo. And don't scroll, because limbo is not your destiny, and this message is for you because you are being guided toward a love that does not arrive through confusion, but through certainty. And listen to this, because certainty doesn't rush, it settles, and you've been feeling a settling inside you lately. A quiet strength that says you'll be okay no matter how this unfolds. And don't scroll, because that strength is faith growing roots, and your heart needs this right now as God whispers that you are not here to chase someone who hasn't closed other doors. You are here to be chosen openly, fully, and without conditions. And listen to this, because the soulmate energy around you is not about drama, it's about devotion. And devotion requires availability. And don't scroll, because availability is not something you negotiate, it's something you recognize. And this message is for you because the next phase of your journey is not about waiting for him to decide, it's about you standing firmly in what you deserve. And listen to this, because when you do that, the universe responds quickly, either by clearing obstacles or by redirecting you towards something even more aligned. And your heart needs this right now because nothing you choose from self-respect will ever be wrong. And don't scroll, because this story is still unfolding, and the clarity you've been asking for is closer than you think, arriving not with chaos, but with a calm knowing that settles deep in your chest and says, I trust myself now, and that trust is the doorway to everything meant for you next. Don't scroll, listen to this, because what comes next is where the fog begins to lift and your heart needs this right now, as the universe gently pulls you deeper into understanding why this connection entered your life in the first place. And this message is for you because you're no longer standing at the edge of confusion, you're stepping into awareness. And listen to this, because awareness doesn't arrive loudly, it arrives quietly, with a calm that feels unfamiliar at first. And don't scroll, because that calm is your intuition finally being trusted, and your heart needs this right now because the ache you've been carrying has been slowly transforming into clarity. And listen to this, because clarity doesn't always mean answers all at once. It means knowing what questions no longer deserve your energy. And don't scroll, because you've been asking the wrong questions for too long. Questions like, why am I not enough? Or, what do I need to change? When the real question your soul has been asking is, why am I accepting less than what feels true to me? And this message is for you because the universe is shifting your focus from him to you, from waiting to choosing. And listen to this, because choosing yourself does not mean you stop caring, it means you stop abandoning yourself. And don't scroll, because abandonment is not love, even when it's quiet and subtle. And your heart needs this right now because you've been loyal to a feeling, not to a reality, and that loyalty has taught you endurance, patience, and depth, but now it's teaching you discernment. And listen to this, because discernment is the gift that arrives after you've learned compassion. And don't scroll, because you have learned compassion deeply, for him, for his situation, for his fears, for his unfinished ties. But compassion without boundaries turns into self-sacrifice. And this message is for you because God is not asking you to sacrifice yourself on the altar of someone else's indecision. And listen to this, because heaven never asks you to shrink to make space for love, it asks love to rise to meet you. And don't scroll, because what you've been feeling lately, that subtle pulling back of emotional intensity, is not detachment, it's recalibration. And your heart needs this right now because recalibration restores balance, and listen to this, because balance is what's been missing, not passion, not chemistry, not connection, but balance, and don't scroll, because when balance is absent, even love feels heavy, and this message is for you because you're no longer meant to carry emotional weight that isn't yours to carry, and listen to this, because the presence of another woman in his life is not something you're meant to solve, manage, or wait out. It's something he must face and resolve on his own, and don't scroll, because your role was never to rescue him from his choices, it was to awaken him to the truth of his heart, and that awakening has already happened, even if you haven't seen the full expression of it yet, and listen to this, because awakening does not always lead to immediate action. Sometimes it leads to inner conflict, fear, and delay, and don't scroll, because delay is not rejection, but it is information, and your heart needs this right now because information allows you to choose wisely instead of emotionally, and listen to this, because wisdom is now leading your steps, not longing, and don't scroll, because longing keeps you tethered to potential, while wisdom anchors you in reality. And this message is for you because reality is where peace lives, and you've been craving peace more than answers lately. And listen to this, because peace doesn't mean you stop feeling, it means your feelings no longer control you, and don't scroll, because control is shifting back into your hands, and your heart needs this right now as you notice how your reactions have softened, how you no longer feel the same urgency to explain yourself, to wait by your phone, to interpret silence, and listen to this, because that is emotional maturity settling in, and don't scroll, because maturity doesn't dull love, it purifies it, and this message is for you because pure love does not confuse, it clarifies, and listen to this, because the universe has been sending you signs. Angel numbers like 333 when you're questioning your worth, reminding you that you are supported, 555 when you're thinking about letting go, signaling that change is aligning in your favor, and 777 when you're finally choosing trust over fear, and don't scroll, because these signs are not random, they are reassurance. And your heart needs this right now because reassurance strengthens your resolve, and listen to this, because resolve is what allows you to stand steady without needing guarantees. And don't scroll, because guarantees are not how faith works, and this message is for you because faith is trusting that what is meant for you will meet you where you are, not ask you to wait in uncertainty, and listen to this, because the love that's meant to stay will not make you feel second, hidden, or conflicted, and don't scroll, because the universe is aligning you with a love that meets you openly, consistently, and fully, and your heart needs this right now because whether this man resolves his situation or not, your path forward is becoming clear, and listen to this, because clarity does not depend on his actions anymore, it depends on your alignment, and don't scroll, because alignment is power, and this message is for you because as you align with your truth, things will shift quickly. Conversations will happen, decisions will surface, or new opportunities will appear that make the old confusion fade, and listen to this, because when you no longer cling, the universe responds, and don't scroll, because release is not loss. It's space-making, and your heart needs this right now because space is where miracles enter, and listen to this, because the miracle you're preparing for is not just romantic, it's internal. It's the moment you realize you trust yourself completely, and don't scroll, because that trust changes everything, and this message is for you because whatever unfolds next, you will meet it grounded, clear, and whole, no longer questioning your worth, no longer settling for half answers, and no longer afraid of choosing yourself, and that is the energy that attracts love that stays, love that chooses you without hesitation, love that doesn't arrive with shadows, but with light. Don't scroll, listen to this, because this is the moment where everything you've been feeling finally begins to make sense, and your heart needs this right now as the universe gently but unmistakably shifts the energy around you, and this message is for you because you are no longer standing in uncertainty, you are standing in transition, and listen to this, because transition is uncomfortable only when you resist it, but powerful when you understand it, and don't scroll, because understanding is what God is offering you now, not pressure, not fear, but clarity wrapped in compassion, and your heart needs this right now because you've been strong for so long without realizing how much strength it took, and listen to this, because the universe has seen every moment you chose patience over reaction, hope over bitterness, and love over ego, and don't scroll, because none of that was wasted, even the moments that hurt, even the nights you questioned your own intuition, even the silence that felt heavier than words, and this message is for you because silence was not punishment, it was preparation, and listen to this, because preparation is subtle, it reshapes your inner world before it changes your outer circumstances, and don't scroll, because your inner world has changed more than you realize. And your heart needs this right now as you recognize that you are no longer the same person who first felt drawn into this connection, you are wiser now, steadier, more grounded, and listen to this, because growth does not erase love, it refines it, and don't scroll, because refined love knows when to hold space and when to step back, and this message is for you because stepping back is not giving up, it is reclaiming your center, and listen to this, because your center is where your power lives, and don't scroll, because you are being called back into your power gently, not forcefully. And your heart needs this right now because the universe is reminding you that you are not here to wait indefinitely for someone else to untangle their life, you are here to live fully in alignment with your truth, and listen to this, because alignment feels different than attachment, alignment feels calm, steady, and expansive, while attachment feels anxious, tight, and draining, and don't scroll, because you've felt the difference lately, even if you couldn't name it. And this message is for you because your nervous system has been teaching you what your mind kept trying to override, and listen to this, because when your body relaxes at the thought of release, that is not loss, that is relief, and don't scroll, because relief is a form of divine confirmation, and your heart needs this right now because God does not lead you toward exhaustion, He leads you toward peace, and listen to this, because peace is not the absence of love, it is the presence of self-respect, and don't scroll, because self-respect is becoming your new standard, not because you hardened, but because you healed, and this message is for you because healing doesn't make you cold, it makes you clear, and listen to this, because clarity allows you to see the situation as it truly is, without romanticizing, without self-blame, without fear, and don't scroll, because truth does not arrive to shame you, it arrives to free you, and your heart needs this right now because the truth is this. His feelings can be real and still incomplete, His care can be genuine and still constrained by unresolved ties, and listen to this, because recognizing that does not invalidate what you shared, it simply places it in context, and don't scroll, because context restores perspective, and this message is for you because perspective is what lifts you out of emotional limbo, and listen to this, because limbo is where you were never meant to stay, and don't scroll, because staying too long in limbo dims your light, and your light is not meant to dim, it's meant to guide, and listen to this, because your light has already guided him to awareness, even if he hasn't fully acted on it yet, and don't scroll, because awakening someone does not obligate you to wait for their transformation, and this message is for you because your role was to reflect truth, not to carry responsibility for his choices, and listen to this. Because responsibility belongs to the one who holds the decision, and don't scroll, because you've been carrying emotional weight that was never yours to hold, and your heart needs this right now as the universe gently releases that weight from your shoulders, and listen to this, because release does not happen all at once, it happens layer by layer, with compassion, with patience, with trust, and don't scroll, because trust is being rebuilt inside you now, trust in yourself, trust in timing, trust in divine order. And this message is for you because you are learning to trust without needing constant reassurance, and listen to this, because reassurance once came from external validation, but now it comes from inner knowing, and don't scroll, because inner knowing is unshakable, and your heart needs this right now because as that knowing settles, your energy shifts, and when your energy shifts, the universe responds, and listen to this, because response does not always look like immediate reunion. Sometimes it looks like distance that creates clarity, conversations that reveal truth, or new paths that open unexpectedly, and don't scroll, because whatever unfolds next will not feel chaotic, it will feel aligned, even if it surprises you, and this message is for you because you are no longer being tested, you are being positioned, and listen to this, because positioning is subtle. It moves you into place quietly so that when the moment arrives, you are ready, and don't scroll, because readiness is not about having all the answers, it's about trusting yourself to respond with wisdom, and your heart needs this right now because you are ready to choose peace over potential, clarity over confusion, and alignment over attachment, and listen to this, because the universe honors those choices quickly. And don't scroll, because as you honor yourself, love that honors you finds you, not with hesitation, not with divided attention, but with presence, devotion, and truth. And when that happens, you will look back on this moment not with regret, but with gratitude, knowing that everything unfolded exactly as it needed to for you to become who you are now. Don't scroll. Listen to this, because this is the moment where your spirit settles into a deeper truth and your heart needs this right now, as the universe slows everything down just enough for you to finally hear what it has been whispering all along, and this message is for you because you have crossed a quiet line between reacting and responding, between hoping and knowing, and listen to this, because knowing does not shout, it rests calmly inside you. And don't scroll, because that calm you've been feeling lately is not emptiness, it's alignment, and your heart needs this right now because alignment often feels unfamiliar after seasons of emotional turbulence, and listen to this, because you lived in heightened emotion for so long that peace felt suspicious, but God does not bring anxiety to confirm truth, He brings peace to anchor it, and don't scroll, because anchoring is what's happening now. And this message is for you because you are being anchored into your worth, not into someone else's uncertainty, and listen to this, because the universe is gently separating what you felt from what you are meant to carry forward, and don't scroll, because separation is not rejection, it's refinement, and your heart needs this right now as you begin to recognize that the love you experienced was real, but it was not meant to cost you your peace, your self-trust, or your sense of wholeness, and listen to this, because God never asks you to barter your well-being for connection, and don't scroll, because connection that requires constant self-sacrifice is not divine, it's draining, and this message is for you because you are learning the difference now, not through pain, but through awareness, and listen to this, because awareness changes the way you interpret silence, distance, and delay, and don't scroll, because delay once felt personal, like something you needed to fix, but now you see it differently, as information rather than judgment, and your heart needs this right now because information empowers you, and listen to this, because empowered people no longer beg for clarity, they recognize it when it arrives, and don't scroll, because clarity has been arriving quietly through your own evolution, through the way your priorities have shifted, through the way your standards have solidified. And this message is for you because you no longer confuse emotional intensity with emotional safety, and listen to this, because safety is what your soul has always been craving beneath the longing, and don't scroll, because longing often disguises unmet needs, and your heart needs this right now as those needs become clearer to you, and listen to this, because clarity doesn't diminish love, it elevates it, and don't scroll, because elevated love does not hide in shadows, does not compete with unresolved ties, and does not ask you to be patient beyond reason. And this message is for you because you are no longer meant to rationalize situations that leave you emotionally unsettled, and listen to this, because your nervous system has been your greatest teacher, responding before your mind could explain, tightening when something was off, relaxing when something felt true, and don't scroll, because learning to trust those responses is spiritual maturity. And your heart needs this right now because maturity does not harden your heart, it protects it, and listen to this. Because protection is not fear, it's wisdom earned through experience, and don't scroll, because you've earned this wisdom, through nights of reflection, through moments of disappointment, through choosing not to become bitter even when you were hurt. And this message is for you because that choice shaped you into someone capable of deep, conscious love, and listen to this, because conscious love does not ignore red flags, it understands them without panic, and don't scroll, because understanding removes urgency, and your heart needs this right now. Because urgency once kept you stuck, waiting for answers that never came, but now you are no longer waiting, you are observing, and listen to this, because observation creates space, and don't scroll, because space is where truth becomes undeniable, and this message is for you because in that space, you are seeing clearly that love must be chosen freely, without pressure, without divided loyalties, and listen to this, because anything less creates imbalance, and don't scroll, because imbalance always reveals itself eventually, and your heart needs this right now because you are choosing not to ignore what your spirit has been showing you, and listen to this, because ignoring intuition is how cycles repeat, and don't scroll, because cycles end when awareness replaces denial, and this message is for you because you are ending a cycle not with anger, but with understanding, and listen to this. Because understanding allows you to release without resentment, and don't scroll, because resentment binds you to the past, while understanding frees you for the future, and your heart needs this right now because freedom is becoming your priority, not attachment, and listen to this, because freedom does not mean you stop loving, it means you love without losing yourself, and don't scroll, because losing yourself was never part of your destiny. And this message is for you because your destiny includes love that arrives with clarity, presence, and mutual commitment, and listen to this, because commitment is not a promise made in words, it's consistency shown in actions, and don't scroll, because your spirit has been craving consistency more than reassurance, and your heart needs this right now as you recognize that reassurance fades, but consistency builds trust, and listen to this, because trust is the foundation of everything lasting, and don't scroll, because lasting love does not keep you guessing, it keeps you grounded, and this message is for you because grounding is happening now, slowly, gently, without force, and listen to this, because when you are grounded, you stop chasing outcomes and start trusting process, and don't scroll, because process is where growth happens, and your heart needs this right now because you are growing into someone who no longer settles for emotional crumbs, and listen to this, because crumbs once felt like hope, but now they feel like disrespect, and don't scroll, because recognizing that is growth, and this message is for you, because as you honor that growth, the universe responds by rearranging what no longer fits, and listen to this, because rearrangement can feel like loss before it feels like alignment, and don't scroll, because alignment is closer than you think, and your heart needs this right now because what's ahead will not ask you to wait in confusion, it will meet you with clarity, and when it does, you will understand why this phase required patience, discernment, and courage, and listen to this. Because courage is not holding on indefinitely, it's trusting yourself enough to let go when something no longer honors your truth, and don't scroll, because that courage is awakening within you now, quietly, steadily, and unmistakably, preparing you for the love that meets you fully, openly, and without conditions, and when that love arrives, you will recognize it not by intensity alone, but by the deep peace that settles into your chest and tells you, without doubt, that you are finally home. Don't scroll, listen to this, because this is the layer where truth stops feeling emotional and starts feeling steady, and your heart needs this right now as the universe settles you into a deeper understanding of what has been unfolding beneath the surface, and this message is for you because you are no longer in the storm of wondering, you are in the calm that follows realization, and listen to this. Because realization does not arrive with fireworks, it arrives with relief, with a soft exhale you didn't realize you were holding, and don't scroll, because that exhale is sacred, and your heart needs this right now because for the first time in a long while, you are not trying to make something make sense, you are letting it be what it is, and listen to this, because acceptance is not surrender to disappointment, it is alignment with truth, and don't scroll, because truth has a way of restoring your energy instead of draining it, and this message is for you because you've been tired in a way sleep couldn't fix, tired from holding emotional tension that never fully resolved, tired from loving with patience while clarity stayed just out of reach, and listen to this, because that tiredness was a signal, not a weakness, and don't scroll, because your soul was signaling that it was time for a shift, and your heart needs this right now because that shift is happening internally first, where lasting change always begins. And listen to this, because the universe changes you before it changes your circumstances, and don't scroll, because you've changed, more than you realize, and this message is for you because the version of you listening now no longer needs to chase certainty, you recognize it by how your body responds, how your thoughts slow, how your emotions settle, and listen to this, because your nervous system is no longer reacting to mixed signals the way it once did, and don't scroll, because calm discernment has replaced anxious attachment, and your heart needs this right now because that is healing in motion, and listen to this, because healing does not erase desire, it refines it, and don't scroll, because refined desire no longer accepts half availability, and this message is for you because you are no longer romanticizing situations that require you to dim your needs, and listen to this, because needing clarity is not asking for too much. It's asking for the bare minimum of emotional safety, and don't scroll, because emotional safety is not negotiable in divine connections, and your heart needs this right now as you realize that love meant for you will never require secrecy, competition, or self-betrayal, and listen to this, because self-betrayal was never part of your soul contract, and don't scroll, because every time you ignored your intuition, you felt it later in your body, in your mood, in your spirit. And this message is for you because you are learning to listen sooner now, and listen to this, because listening sooner saves you time, energy, and heartache. And don't scroll, because wisdom grows when you stop overriding your inner voice, and your heart needs this right now because your inner voice has been guiding you gently toward peace, not drama, not emotional highs and lows, but steadiness. And listen to this, because steadiness once felt boring only because your nervous system was used to chaos. And don't scroll, because chaos is not passion, it's dysregulation. And this message is for you because you are no longer mistaking emotional intensity for love. And listen to this, because love that lasts feels safe enough to breathe in, not something you constantly brace yourself for. And don't scroll, because you've been bracing for disappointment for too long, and your heart needs this right now as you release that armor piece by piece. And listen to this, because armor once protected you, but now it restricts you. And don't scroll, because God removes armor gently when it's no longer needed. And this message is for you because you are stepping into a season where you don't need to defend your worth, you simply embody it. And listen to this, because embodiment changes everything. It changes how people show up around you, how opportunities find you, and how love approaches you. And don't scroll, because love approaches differently when you are grounded in self-respect. And your heart needs this right now because the energy you carry now no longer invites confusion, it invites honesty. And listen to this, because honesty is not always comfortable, but it is always freeing. And don't scroll, because freedom is what your soul has been craving beneath the longing. And this message is for you because longing was a signal, not a destination. And listen to this, because destinations feel settled, not restless. And don't scroll, because you've been restless only when you were trying to make something work that wasn't fully aligned yet. And your heart needs this right now as you recognize that alignment doesn't require convincing, explaining, or waiting indefinitely. It simply unfolds. And listen to this, because unfolding happens naturally when both people are available, present, and ready. And don't scroll, because readiness cannot be rushed or borrowed. And this message is for you because you are no longer taking responsibility for someone else's readiness. And listen to this, because that responsibility was never yours to carry. And don't scroll, because carrying it kept you stuck between hope and disappointment. And your heart needs this right now because you are choosing to stand fully in your own lane, trusting that what is meant for you will meet you there. And listen to this, because meeting you there requires courage from the other person. And don't scroll, because courage cannot be forced, it must be chosen. And this message is for you because you are no longer trying to inspire courage through patience alone. You are allowing space for truth to surface. And listen to this, because space reveals what pressure hides. And don't scroll, because pressure once made you feel anxious, while space now makes you feel clear. And your heart needs this right now because clarity is becoming your new comfort zone. And listen to this, because comfort does not mean settling, it means alignment with your values. And don't scroll, because your values have crystallized through this experience. And this message is for you because you now know what you require to feel safe, seen, and chosen. And listen to this, because knowing your requirements is not being demanding, it's being honest. And don't scroll, because honesty with yourself is the foundation of every healthy bond. And your heart needs this right now as you understand that whatever unfolds next will meet you differently than before, because you are different now. And listen to this, because you are calmer, clearer, and less willing to negotiate your peace. And don't scroll, because peace is the greatest sign you're aligned with divine timing. And this message is for you because divine timing never arrives with panic, it arrives with assurance. And listen to this, because assurance does not always promise outcomes, it promises guidance, and don't scroll, because guidance is what has carried you this far, and your heart needs this right now because as you continue forward, you are no longer walking from fear of loss. You are walking towards self-trust, and listen to this, because self-trust is magnetic, and don't scroll, because it attracts people and situations that reflect your wholeness, not your wounds, and this message is for you because the next chapter of your love story will not require you to explain your needs repeatedly, it will recognize them intuitively, and listen to this, because intuition meets intuition, and don't scroll, because when that meeting happens, it feels effortless, mutual, and grounded, and your heart needs this right now. Because you are closer to that alignment than you think, not because you waited perfectly, but because you grew honestly, and listen to this, because honest growth always leads you home to yourself first, and from there, everything meant for you finds you naturally, without force, without confusion, and without asking you to be less than who you are. Don't scroll, listen to this, because this is the phase where everything inside you settles into a deeper truth and your heart needs this right now, as the universe gently closes the chapter of confusion and opens the doorway to integration, and this message is for you because you are no longer learning the lesson, you are embodying it, and listen to this, because embodiment feels different than understanding, it feels quieter, steadier, more rooted in your body than your thoughts, and don't scroll, because that rooted feeling you've been noticing lately is not detachment, it's grounding, and your heart needs this right now because grounding allows you to stand in love without losing balance, and listen to this, because balance is the evidence of healing, not the absence of feeling, and don't scroll, because you still feel deeply, you just no longer let feelings pull you away from your center. And this message is for you because your center has strengthened through everything you endured, every unanswered question, every moment you chose grace over reaction, and listen to this, because grace did not make you weak, it refined you, and don't scroll, because refinement strips away illusions while preserving what's real, and your heart needs this right now as you recognize that what's real inside you no longer depends on someone else's choices, and listen to this, because independence of spirit is not emotional distance, it's self-possession, and don't scroll, because self-possession changes how you love, you no longer attach from fear of losing, you connect from wholeness. And this message is for you because wholeness is becoming your natural state again, and listen to this, because you didn't lose yourself forever, you just went searching for love and learned more about who you are along the way, and don't scroll, because that journey was necessary, even the parts that hurt. And your heart needs this right now because the pain you felt was not punishment. It was information, guiding you toward deeper alignment. And listen to this, because alignment does not demand perfection, it asks for honesty, and don't scroll, because you have been honest with yourself in ways you never were before, and this message is for you because honesty shifts energy quickly, and listen to this, because as your honesty grew, your tolerance for ambiguity shrank, and don't scroll, because ambiguity once felt like mystery, but now it feels like misalignment. And your heart needs this right now because recognizing misalignment does not mean you failed, it means you evolved, and listen to this, because evolution always brings a period of recalibration, where old patterns no longer fit and new ones are still forming, and don't scroll, because that in-between space can feel empty if you don't understand it, but it's actually fertile ground. And this message is for you because fertile ground is where clarity takes root, and listen to this, because clarity does not rush, it grows steadily, and don't scroll, because you've been growing steadily, even on days you felt stuck, and your heart needs this right now because progress is not measured by how fast things change externally, but by how differently you respond internally. And listen to this, because you respond differently now. You pause instead of panic, you reflect instead of react, you choose rest instead of rumination, and don't scroll, because those choices are not accidental, they are signs of integration. And this message is for you because integration is when lessons become instincts. And listen to this, because instincts guide you without effort. And don't scroll, because your instincts are sharper now, more trustworthy, more attuned to what feels right rather than what looks promising. And your heart needs this right now because appearances once misled you, while feelings told the truth. And listen to this, because your body has always known before your mind could accept it. And don't scroll, because learning to listen to your body is spiritual maturity. And this message is for you because maturity does not mean you stop hoping, it means you hope without abandoning yourself. And listen to this, because self-abandonment was never your intention, it was a coping strategy learned through uncertainty. And don't scroll, because coping strategies evolve when safety is restored. And your heart needs this right now because safety is returning to you internally, regardless of what others do. And listen to this, because internal safety is the foundation of healthy love. And don't scroll, because love that arrives next will meet you at this level of awareness, not the version of you that waited in confusion. And this message is for you because you are not repeating the past, you are closing it with understanding. And listen to this, because understanding releases emotional charge. And don't scroll, because release is happening quietly, without drama, without resentment, without needing closure from someone else. And your heart needs this right now because closure is an internal decision, not a conversation. And listen to this, because you are choosing closure through self-respect. And don't scroll, because self-respect creates boundaries that feel calm instead of defensive. And this message is for you because your boundaries are becoming clearer, not harsher. And listen to this, because clarity does not need volume, it needs consistency. And don't scroll, because consistency has become your new language of love. And your heart needs this right now because you crave reliability more than reassurance, presence more than promises. And listen to this, because promises once kept you hopeful, but presence will keep you grounded. And don't scroll, because presence is what the universe is aligning for you, in people, in opportunities, in love. And this message is for you because presence does not hide behind unresolved attachments, it stands openly, fully available. And listen to this, because you are learning to recognize availability by how something feels over time, not how it sparks in moments. And don't scroll, because moments can be intoxicating, but time reveals truth. And your heart needs this right now because you are choosing long-term peace over short-term intensity. And listen to this, because that choice marks a turning point in your life. And don't scroll, because turning points are often quiet, unnoticed by others, but deeply felt by the soul. And this message is for you because your soul feels it now, that gentle certainty replacing anxiety, that calm confidence replacing doubt. And listen to this, because confidence does not mean you know exactly what will happen next, it means you trust yourself to handle whatever does. And don't scroll, because that trust is the greatest gift this journey has given you. And your heart needs this right now because from this place of trust, you will attract connections that feel mutual, clear, and nourishing. And listen to this, because nourishment is what love is meant to provide, not depletion. And don't scroll, because depletion was your sign to grow, not to endure. And this message is for you because you have grown, beautifully, patiently, and honestly. And listen to this, because the universe honors that kind of growth by meeting it with alignment, and don't scroll, because alignment is already forming around you, even if you can't see it fully yet, and your heart needs this right now because what's coming will feel different than what you've known, not because it's perfect, but because it's peaceful, and listen to this, because peace is not boring, it's expansive, and don't scroll, because expansion is what allows love to breathe, to deepen, and to last, and this message is for you because you are ready now, not rushed, not hardened, but open with discernment, hopeful with boundaries, and grounded in self-trust, and listen to this, because from this place, whatever unfolds next will not shake you, it will meet you, and that meeting will feel like recognition without fear, connection without confusion, and love without conditions, and when that happens, you will know, not because you were told, but because your whole being will settle into a quiet yes that needs no explanation. Don't scroll, listen to this, because this is the moment where everything comes full circle and your heart needs this right now, and this message is for you because you didn't come this far just to stop at understanding. You came to step fully into alignment, and listen to this, because alignment doesn't arrive with fireworks, it arrives with a deep exhale in your chest, the kind you've been feeling lately when you realize you're no longer chasing answers, you're becoming them, and don't scroll, because that calm settling inside you is not boredom or emptiness, it's peace finally replacing the noise. And your heart needs this right now because peace feels unfamiliar when you've lived in emotional intensity for so long, and listen to this, because intensity taught you lessons, but peace is where you live them, and don't scroll, because you are living them now, even if you don't announce it, even if no one claps for it, and this message is for you because quiet growth is still growth, and listen to this, because the universe recognizes the internal shifts before the external ones appear, and don't scroll, because you've been feeling those shifts in small ways. How certain names no longer trigger the same reaction, how certain memories no longer carry the same weight, how your body relaxes instead of tightens when you think about the future, and your heart needs this right now because that relaxation is evidence of release, and listen to this, because release doesn't mean forgetting, it means loosening your grip on what no longer needs your energy, and don't scroll, because you've loosened your grip gracefully, without bitterness, without forcing closure, and this message is for you because grace is what separates healing from avoidance, and listen to this, because avoidance numbs, but healing integrates, and don't scroll, because integration is what you're experiencing now, when past lessons no longer sting but instead guide you gently, and your heart needs this right now because guidance feels softer than control, and listen to this, because you are no longer trying to control outcomes. You are allowing alignment to unfold, and don't scroll, because allowing is not passive, it is an active trust in your own resilience, and this message is for you because resilience is no longer about surviving emotional storms, it's about choosing not to enter them at all, and listen to this, because you now recognize storms by how they feel in your body, not how exciting they look in your mind, and don't scroll, because your body has become a compass again, pointing you toward what feels steady, nourishing, and true, and your heart needs this right now because you once ignored that compass to keep connections alive, and listen to this, because you no longer need to sacrifice yourself to maintain love, and don't scroll, because love that requires self-sacrifice is not the love meant to stay, and this message is for you because you are learning the difference between compromise and self-erasure, and listen to this, because compromise honors both people, while self-erasure only benefits one, and don't scroll, because that realization has changed how you show up in every connection, and your heart needs this right now because you now expect reciprocity without demanding it, and listen to this, because expectation rooted in self-worth is not entitlement, it's discernment, and don't scroll, because discernment sharpens with experience, and this message is for you because your experiences were not wasted, even the painful ones, and listen to this, because every disappointment refined your standards, every delay strengthened your patience, and every heartbreak clarified your values, and don't scroll, because clarity is the real reward of healing, and your heart needs this right now because clarity quiets anxiety, and listen to this, because anxiety thrives on uncertainty, but certainty comes from knowing yourself, and don't scroll, because you know yourself more deeply now than ever before. And this message is for you because self-knowledge is spiritual power, and listen to this, because power does not always look like confidence on the outside, sometimes it looks like calm restraint, and don't scroll, because restraint is what keeps you from repeating old patterns, and your heart needs this right now because repetition once felt familiar, but familiarity is not the same as safety, and listen to this, because safety feels grounding, not consuming, and don't scroll, because you are choosing grounding now, in your thoughts, in your relationships, in your expectations, and this message is for you because grounding allows you to receive what's meant for you without fear of losing yourself again, and listen to this, because what's meant for you will not ask you to shrink, wait in confusion, or question your worth, and don't scroll, because the universe is removing anything that cannot meet you at this level of awareness, and your heart needs this right now because removal can feel like loss before it feels like relief, and listen to this, because relief is coming in waves, subtle but consistent, and don't scroll, because you've already felt it in moments where you laugh more freely, sleep more deeply, or go a whole day without overthinking someone else's intentions, and this message is for you because those moments are not random, they are signs of emotional sovereignty returning to you, and listen to this, because sovereignty means you own your emotional landscape again, and don't scroll, because owning your emotions allows you to share them freely without fear of abandonment, and your heart needs this right now because fear once dictated how much you revealed, and listen to this, because you no longer hide to protect yourself, you choose wisely to honor yourself, and don't scroll, because wisdom is quiet confidence built over time, and this message is for you because time has been working in your favor, even when it felt like nothing was happening, and listen to this, because stillness is not stagnation. It's preparation, and don't scroll, because preparation is what allows you to meet what's next without panic, and your heart needs this right now because what's next will feel different. Not overwhelming, not confusing, but gently affirming, and listen to this, because affirmation does not need to be loud to be real, and don't scroll, because reality settles into your nervous system calmly, not chaotically, and this message is for you because calm is now your baseline, not something you earn after suffering, and listen to this, because suffering was never the requirement for love, it was simply part of your awakening, and don't scroll, because awakenings are rarely comfortable. But they are always purposeful, and your heart needs this right now because purpose gives meaning to every step you took, even the ones that led you away from what you thought you wanted, and listen to this, because those detours guided you back to yourself, and don't scroll, because returning to yourself is the greatest reunion of all, and this message is for you because from this reunion, everything else aligns naturally, and listen to this, because alignment is not forced, it flows, and don't scroll, because you are flowing now, even if life feels simple, even if nothing dramatic is happening, and your heart needs this right now because simplicity is a sign of balance, and listen to this, because balance allows love to grow without fear, connection to deepen without anxiety, and life to unfold without constant resistance. And don't scroll, because you are standing at the threshold of